Maria Vaneke. I will introduce me like a second, but I want to just tell you this is an open discussion, not a therapy session. And we decided to do this weekly events to provide a platform in these special times where people from all over the world can come together and talk about COVID-19, the lockdown, Black Lives Matter, protests, riots, transformation, stress and frustration, what comes with these times. So we want to give everybody a voice, and so everybody can share their thoughts, but also share knowledge and tips and tricks. And we invite every time a guest speaker to talk about how they can cope in these special times with stress or frustration or anger. So let me see. First, I'd like to introduce you to Jason Wan. He's the botcamp bot. He's taping this session or recording this session. If you're not okay with that, please tell me, notify to me, and I will stop the recording after Frank's talk. And also we have Bogdan Onofray. He is one of our technical services. He will help us to moderate. He's here giving the smileys, and he's here to help us. These people are helping us with the technical things. And my name is Anna Maria Vaneke. I've been sailing on big traditional sailing vessels as a crew member around the world, and later as a captain. And now I'm helping people to become the captains of their lives. And virtual reality is the most powerful tool to help me with my mission. That's why I founded a company called Captain VR. And I'm proud to be the part of this wonderful platform called Educators in VR, which is founded by Laurel van Vossen and Daniel Dibowski-Bryant. And I'm the team leader of the V Coaching and Personal Development track. The mission is to build a network of people around the world who are interested in coaching and personal development, and provide them an interactive space where they can communicate, share knowledge, support, connect, and inspire each other. And maybe even join forces to create a better real world for everyone. So today's guest speaker is Frank Rood. And Frank is the founder and owner of the My Time Creator platform for stress reduction and time management. And after a successful career as designer, manager, and director in the high-tech industry, he chooses to become a coach and trainer. His specialties are time management and stress reduction. His mission is to bring inner peace and outer peace. So please give him a big hand. Frank Rood.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Applause. Yes, thank you.
Welcome, and good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you come from, because this is a very international community, and I like it to meet people from all over the world. And maybe because it's a VR room, you can get a little bit closer to me. The group is not that big, so we get a little bit more interaction closer to each other. It's safe, so don't worry. And I'm raising my hand now with the high five. I'm next to Dana. So to start today, we're going to talk about stress reduction and behavioral change related to stress reduction. And it will be an interactive session. It's not like me talking all the time. Don't worry about that. That might give you stress, or you get bored, which is also stressful. And maybe because of the title and the subject of this session, you are interested in stress or stress reduction. And I think every person in the world suffers from stress, more or less during his or her life. And stress is very difficult to control, to moderate. It's not impossible, but it's not so easy. So I'm very interested in the subject. The agenda is that I do a short talk, then we have the opportunity to do some questions and answers. We do a short exercise, and then the rest is open discussion. So a lot of space, a lot of time for you to interact, but also bring in tips and your expertise. So that would be very nice. Probably I will learn from you as much as you do from me. My name is Frank Rood. I have a short story to tell you about my past, which is related to the subject, and it's also related to virtual reality, which is also quite new to me, to be honest. So all my life I've been fascinated by effectiveness and efficiency. I have what they call a low tolerance of frustration. When things don't go smooth, I get frustrated easily. And on top of that, I'm also very stress sensitive. So when I get outside pressure or deadlines or chaos, then I get stressed very much. About 20 years ago, when I got a job as a manager of a large department, I had to do this job in 2 days per week. And that was a mission impossible. I was still finishing the design of a wind turbine. Hello, nice to meet you. And I had to do my job in 2 days per week, which meant I had very little time for a very, demanding job. And I was afraid that would stress me out. So I tried to learn a lot of time management techniques to reduce my stress. And I was lucky to have I was afraid that would stress me out. A lot of books, a lot of knowledge. So he told me about techniques to reduce stress, to manage my time. And I read a lot of books, and I was so enthusiastic about what I learned. I immediately started training and coaching other people on this subject. So that means the past 20 years, besides being a manager and doing some other jobs, I have been a coach and a trainer on time management and stress management. But in the beginning, I trained and coached people, and I thought I was successful at it. So I was very enthusiastic about the subject. That's why I'm still doing it right now with you. So we did some coaching sessions, I did some training groups, and after a few years of doing that work, I was very much interested in the long-term effects of my teachings and my training sessions and coaching sessions. And when I interviewed people about the effect of the training, most of them were very enthusiastic about, well, that was a great training, or I had a great coaching session. And I was more or less happy. And then I asked the second question. And the second question was, okay, what do you do differently today as a result of the coaching and training we did? And then it became silent. Because there were no lessons learned at all. It was just a nice day or a nice coaching session with, some interesting and pleasant interaction. But the behavior of those clients, those coachees and trainees was not changed. And I was shocked. I was really sad. I was really depressed because I really wanted to make a difference, and I was passionate to help these people, and it didn't work. So I tried to find out what I did wrong, and what was missing in my training and coaching was a good way to activate the people, to make them apply what they learned. So I changed my training structure. I set up a training with multiple modules, with lots of activation techniques in between, with lots of incentive to actually apply the lessons learned, and a lot of coaching and guidance from my side during this period of training and coaching. And then I did the survey again, and I was a little bit scared that I would have the same outcome. But then after 2 years, after 2 years of the training or the coaching session, they told me not only that they liked it, but they could also mention what they changed in their lives to make their lives less stressful, or to save time, or to be more productive. So now I was super happy, of course, because I found the key to the change of behavior, and I had some effects. So people were less stressed and they had more fun in their work and they could do more difficult things. So I was on a good track. So what does this story have to do with virtual reality? Well, to me, everything. Because learning new skills is about activation, getting started, practicing, applying the knowledge. And to get moving and to create new habits, it's not so easy. You need guidance, motivation, activation, application, and preferably also feedback and reinforcement. And all those things should come together to really change your behavior and to learn something. And I think VR is actually the first virtual or digital way where you can apply all these aspects. And you will be more activated, as in, for example, an online training course or just a presentation, because VR is an active reality. You're now moving around a little bit and playing around a little bit or doing some emoticons, and that's great because that's you being active. And I was talking to Bogdan before you entered the room, and Bogdan is one of the persons helping to make these kind of sessions successful. And Bogdan said, when I stand in my VR set, with my VR set on my head and things in my hand, I'm more active, I have another energy. And that's, I think, the power of VR, that you can be more active. And we're still getting there with the technology slowly. Maybe you're even doing this 2D like me, or you have a nice VR set. But the more advanced the technology becomes, the more engaged you are and the more you can learn if we have the good software tools or the good coaches in these environments. So something about stress, because I promised you it was not only about me and about virtual reality, but also really about stress itself. And I've suffered from some stress during my life. I've also experienced a burnout, which was very bad to experience, but also a very good lesson. And what I learned from that, and also from all the books I read and the talks I had with people, was that when you are stressed, you have difficulty thinking. You have difficulty with your cognitive ability. And one of the things which suffers from that problem is your ability to self-reflect. So if you have a high level of stress or a long time or long period where you had a lot of stress, it's incredibly difficult to understand what's going on with yourself. You don't see it yourself anymore. That's also the problem why people get into a burnout, because when they have high levels of stress, it's hard to realize that. I always say when I get people with high stress levels, or maybe they had a burnout, I said, please do listen to the people around you, your loved one or your close colleague. If they start telling you, well, you look so tired, are you okay? Or maybe you should take some rest. Those kind of remarks, those are typical signals you should take very seriously, because you don't see it anymore. Your changed hormones will make you numb for your own body and your pains and those kind of things. It's hard to self-reflect. So you think you're still okay-ish, and other people around you will see that you're going too far with yourself. So that's all. One tip you can take with you from this session: please listen to the people around you. They know better than you. They are good mirrors. one thing related to virtual reality and what we can do, but it's also true for non-virtual reality guidance of people with stress, is that you need easy to use tools and easy to implement methods. So no complicated new skills, just simple skills. Like, for example, if you want to reduce stress, please pay attention to your breath, to your breathing. It's a simple tip. You can apply it. Everybody can do it. And those kind of methods, those kind of tips, they can help stressed people. Another thing, the second thing is that the methods and tools need feedback loops. So to support self-reflection, so you know immediately if things are working or not. Of course, a good coach or a trainer can help you with that. But you can also build it in yourself and be aware of what's happening to you if you apply something. And the third, very important requirement is that you have a safe environment to practice your new skills. But the good thing is, virtual reality is quite a safe environment. Dana told me she was walking through someone on the way here. Well, that's really awkward, of course, but in virtual reality, nothing will happen to you. You just still can walk on, and you don't bump into each other and you don't hurt each other. So I think virtual reality is already, but will be a very important tool for a change of behavior, a very important coaching and training tool. And there are already software applications to reduce stress in virtual reality. So that's really cool stuff. That's why I join you in this community, and that's why I join you as a guest in this session, because it's super exciting and I want to be part of that development. So thanks for listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming and also giving that as a takeaway for us also as the educator we are really pleased. Shall we go to some questions right now? Or do you still go on with your talk?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, so I will push the questions for everybody. Megaphone, oh sorry. Yes, thank you. So let me give you a button for the questions so you can raise your hands. So this goes on the right hand side at the bottom. You will see a button, I mean, and there you can just push or tap on, and then you can raise your hand for questions and you still stay muted, and then I can call on you and unmute you, and then you can ask your question. So please, anybody who has a question for Frank for this stress management talk, or maybe asks, oh yeah, I see 2 questions coming up. Let me see. Elite Cow, please go on.
Hey Frank, thanks for doing that. I really appreciate that. You said that there was some applications in VR that are already built around kind of reducing stress. Sorry about that. Reducing stress, and what are those applications? And could you recommend any specifically that you've used?
It's just what I heard, so I'm not applying them myself. I think Dana, maybe you can add something to that.
Yes, I developed, Captain VR is also developing tools for stress reduction and time, not time management, but stress reduction and vitality and well-being. And we developed a tool called the VR Mood Booster. We have tested it now for 2 years on a big insurance company called FBTO in the Netherlands with very good results. So we used biofeedback and a researcher from, does it really matter? But she's a digital coach expert and also psychologist and researcher. She tested the tool and with questionnaires on the people for usability, but also for the effect of the tool. And we had very good results. People had within 3 months, no stress, no tension, before they had that they irritated were irritated at work or had high stress levels and tension. But after only using the VR Mood Booster for 10 minutes a day, two days in a week, it already helped them to really reduce stress, but also gain happiness, more productivity. So they were more productive, had higher conversion, a higher customer satisfaction, and quicker. They were faster in making their calls. This was a call center of FBTO that deal with highly stressful communication day by day, where they get drained by the people or the talks, 8 hours for discussion on the phone. So this was really successful. It's not for consumers, it is for organizations, but if you want to know more, you can really I love to give you some more information about that. I can put it in the Discord channel, where we have a own track, V Coaching and Personal Development track. And also, I know also some other people that are working on a stress tool. Is called I forgot the name, but I asked them also to put some information in the V Coaching and Personal Development track of educators in VR. And also we have at the Oculus Library apps on meditation. So for example, there is a, what's the name again, for the guy who is working closely with Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra, has a stress meditation app. And also, here we give a stress reduction training like now. We do this in VR, so we will be giving more like this, so we can do more on this also in Altspace. So, but next, if you want to know more, please come to the Educators in VR Discord channel and be a member of the V Coaching and Personal Development track, and you can share there also your knowledge. If you know any tools as well, please let yourself be heard. We would love to see more of this. Is that, yeah, thank you. So there's some more questions. Thank you. I will, let me see. Laurel, please go on.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. This is wonderful. I was wondering if you could give us more information about using the feedback loops and how that impacts and supports self-reflection, because I think that is incredibly valuable if we understood more about how that worked and how we could make it work for us, especially with all the stress that's going on right now, which is unprecedented kind of global stress level. Thanks.
Yeah. You want to answer that also, Dana?
Oh no, I thought it was not meant for me. I thought you talked about it in your talk.
Yeah.
Did you mean it to me? No, I think it was for you. Yeah.
No, to the speaker.
Perfect. Yeah, to the speaker. That's me, Frank. Okay. Well, when you look at feedback loops, I've trained a lot of groups, and in the training session was also partly team coaching sessions. The good thing of working with a group as opposed to working with in one-on-one coaching is that you can immediately practice and exercise what happens in a situation. So what we do normally when we have a good training session or a little bit longer training session, we discuss the subject, what kind of problem somebody has. We teach the method to overcome the problems. For example, showing a certain behavior. Very simple, very small steps. And then as soon as possible, we apply those steps. And that's simply just doing it with another person of the training group, sometimes in threesomes, where you just are going to do what we just discussed, or do what is proposed by the trainer or by me. And then you get immediate feedback, and it sounds like, well, a role play, and some people have some resistance against that because that's fake and I'm acting, this is not like the real world. But the interesting thing is, if you set it up right, you have a person on the other side, and this person will, if you have a good exercise, respond like normal. Respond as a human being and respond to what the trainee is doing differently. And then we build in a session of immediate feedback. So of course the response is different from the other person, but we also do an immediate review session of, okay, what happened? What kind of behavior did you show? What was different? What was your own experience? How did it feel? In most cases, it feels uncomfortable to show new behavior, so that's also interesting. For me, that's a sign, okay, you're learning. If it's uncomfortable in the first or second or third time that you do or show new behavior, that's probably something you don't do otherwise. So it's good to do it because although it's uncomfortable, it's at least something different. And then you get the reinforcement of people in the same exercise telling you or telling the trainee, okay, what you did was really effective because, and then they give some personal experience of this short exercise. And not looking at the low level and psychological things which happen in such a short exercise. But the effect is enormous because you do something different which feels uncomfortable, but you get immediate positive feedback. So that's an immediate reinforcement. And when you do this kind of short exercises, let's say you have one day of training and you do it a few times on the same subject, you really get this new pathway in your neural system where you get the positive reinforcement of, okay, if I speak up, then somebody responds well, or if I say no, then I don't get an angry person, I just get someone who shows understanding, and I can just, for example, say no to assignment without any consequences. So those kind of exercises are very effective because of this immediate feedback. I hope this is an answer to your question.
That is amazing.
So
In your talk.
those kind of
Set up so that you're getting feedback from outside of yourself,
Mhm.
because that's so important, because your perspective is so limited in many ways when it comes
Yeah,
to this.
exactly.
So beautiful. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
really, I liked it also. So we have another question. Pushikoi, please go on.
Yeah,
I hope
I
that-
just noticed, I think you guys are from Holland. But have you heard
Yes.
of a process called circling or circles? Circling is a process which is kind of like this feedback thing where you get a bunch of people and it's basically providing feedback as a group and kind of a holding space for the collective, more tied into reflective self-awareness, with mirroring with a lot of other people, at least perspectives from different people, and authentic communication. I have a friend of mine, Stefan Segatori, based in Amsterdam, that's doing a lot of these, and he's come up with his own variant called We Flow, basically looking at co-creation and kind of helping people realize their subconscious behaviors and traumas and this kind of thing, uncover traumas and provide a collective space for a group to heal. And a lot of this work is being kind of done and pioneered actually in Amsterdam.
I was not aware of this term circles. I can imagine what it is. And thank you very much for sharing, because I think this is interesting development for sure. Yeah.
Yes, really. Would like to know more about it. Can you also share that, please, in the Discord channel at the coaching and coaching and personal development track? Pushko. Someone is very close to me. That would be really nice if you would do that. I can show you later how to do that. If you're not known with that, please come to me after the session. Let me hear. Is there any other question? Because this was a small question round, and then we're gonna go to an exercise, and then you have more time for questions. So if you don't have any question, don't worry. Please hold on to your question think about it, and then Frank can go on with his session.
Okay, very
Yes?
good. So I hope everybody is ready for a short exercise. And yeah, very good. So everybody is in his own room, in his own environment. You're in your own environment. Either you are standing or sitting down. And I would like you to, for a moment, be in the here and now. And if you're comfortable with that, even close your eyes. Or if that's uncomfortable, just look at the ground. That can be the virtual ground. And at this very moment, try to connect or reconnect with your body again. So feel the floor you're standing on, feel your feet. Feel your legs, be aware, become aware of your legs. Become aware of your belly and breathing towards your belly raising up and down. Be aware of you breathing in your chest. Be aware of your whole upper body. Become aware of your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands. Maybe you're holding the controls of your VR set or on your keyboard. Relax your hands. And be aware of your head. If you're wearing a VR set, maybe you can feel how it's strapped to your head. Maybe you're just without anything on your head, you're just aware of your head on your body, your head in your space, in the space around you. And then be aware of your whole body at once, standing or sitting. And try to feel your breathing, fresh air in and breathing out. And maybe by doing this, you are a little bit more relaxed. Maybe you feel your stress levels. That's also okay. You're probably more aware of your body, where you are. And now we are going to increase your stress levels. That sounds unpleasant, maybe it is, but don't worry, we will go back to relaxation afterwards. First, try to imagine a situation where you were really stressed. For example, you were working on a deadline and there was no time to finish it. Or you met your manager and he was very angry at you or nasty, pushing you. Or some other situation. Try to imagine this moment in time where you were really stressed. And if you have that situation in mind, see if you can also connect to how your body posture was then. Maybe you were sitting behind your computer, bend over your keyboard with your head close to the screen, tense. Or maybe in this interaction with your manager, you were sitting on a chair and he was standing next to you. Or whatever posture you had. And try to imagine that and increase your stress so it becomes a little bit like back then. And do that by making your muscles tense. So strain your muscles, bend over a little bit, strain your neck muscles, your arm muscles, like you're really stressed, like you're really feeling the stress. Tense all those muscles, all the muscles you have. Like, oh, I'm really stressed. And now take a deep breath. And relax a little bit. And reconnect to the here and now. If you were bent over, raise yourself, open your chest to breathe in fresh air. Relax your eyelids, your face. Relax your arms and hands. Your chest, your belly, your legs. Just be in the here and now, because there is no stressor. Maybe you get a little bit stressed by the exercise, but there is no real stressor, there's no real danger now. You're just in this VR session and you're safe. So be aware again of your whole body, of your breathing in and out. And before we finish this exercise, take along from what we just did that part of the stress is your response to a situation. And when you vividly imagine the situation, or when you watch a stressful movie, then you get stressed, but there's no reason to get stressed. So there is something you can do yourself. You can make it worse by imagining the worst thing which can happen. And you can make it better by reconnecting to, for example, your breathing, which is a good method you carry with you every day. So now we end the exercise. I open my eyes again. Not sure what happened, if you're still there. Hopefully you are. And thank you for doing this exercise with me.
Beautiful. So great. I really felt it.
Okay, good.
Really nice and relaxing. Especially also interesting that you can go really to the stress factor and then after that you feel totally relaxed. Really more even than before. That's beautiful.
Yeah, true. That's nice that
work?
It's nice that you just say that. It's actually a trick. I know it from yoga. I've been doing yoga since I was 15 years old and I'm 51 now. So it's been a while that I was practicing yoga during my life. And one of the things I learned as a technique, if you have difficulty connecting to your muscles and relaxing your muscles, is that you first train them and then relax them. So that's a trick to feel your muscles better, and so you're also better able to relax them.
Beautiful. That really worked. So are there any questions for Frank? You can push the right hand button, the raise hand button on the right hand, right on the bottom of the screen. No?
Yeah, or
no
suggestions or other ideas, because I'm very eager also to learn from other people who have experience with their personal stress or helping other people with stress.
Yes, I don't see any questions now, but people are here maybe also to share something. You know, this is a strange time we are in right now with riots, protests, Black Lives Matters, lockdowns, COVID-19. So there's a lot going on. So maybe people just want to also share something about what they've gone through and how they deal with these situations. So this is time for now. There's some. Laurel, go on, please.
Oh, I have 1,000 questions. It triggered plenty. I love that you've been doing yoga for that long. With, I'm trying to think about how to put this in words. So you said that by creating that that stressor and then relaxing, can you talk a little more about that aspect of how does that benefit us? And when we're meditating or we're just being quiet for a moment, what are some ways we can actually isolate what is the stressor? What is really what's going on? Can we pinpoint that? Does that make sense?
Okay. So you would like to isolate the stressor so you can either connect to it or let go, right? So it's because if you don't know where the stress comes from, it's really hard to do something about it, right? Yeah. So one method I start to do something about it. It's only important to connect to what is your stressor, but it's also a very important means to get more inner peace long term, is not to run away from it. So what I've been doing a lot as a coping mechanisms is to run away from my stressors or stressing, for example, emotions about what I find scary, or I've been in a divorce a few years ago, then I didn't want to think about all the things which went wrong or all my bad feelings about what happened.
I don't hear you anymore. Is it me or does everybody else hear you?
So we can't hear it. So Frank, you may have accidentally muted yourself, or
No, I've not.
nope. There, now we hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
now
good.
we hear you again. You was like
Okay, good.
out for a moment.
Oh no.
Yeah. Can you
It
repeat?
stresses me out.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Breathe through it, Frank. Breathe through it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. No, it's one trick is or trick. I think it's a very profound method is to not run away from what needs to be felt. So if you have some emotions or feelings or things which scare you, then running away from it with working hard, or browsing your internet or your social media, or watching videos or Netflix or whatever, or drinking, that doesn't help. It helps in the short term, and it's okay to numb it a little bit if it's really difficult to handle. But in the long term, it's better to feel it and to connect with it. And what you need for that is nothing time. So don't work, don't distract yourself, but just go for a walk by yourself, or go sit in a nice place and just let your thoughts flow. Don't try to not think, not feel, just feel it. And then, of course, then you can take it to the next level and say, okay, what about this feeling is really stressing me out? What is my fear about it? So, for example, if I have a manager who's angry at me, and that stresses me out, and I have some bad nights of sleep because of that, what is really my fear? Maybe my fear is to lose my job, and if I lose my job, I lose my income, and then I can lose my house, or I can lose my relationship. Okay, that's the fear. And if you acknowledge that, you don't have to solve it, but then it's at least clear, okay, this is it. This is the stressor. And don't try to get it away, because then you're busy all your life fighting all the external stressors. Just accept there are some things which stresses you out. Think about it, allow it. And then if you've allowed it, then it's weaker. it will be less dominant in your thoughts and feelings. So then you can go to relaxation activities like yoga, but it can also be riding a bike or just gardening or whatever makes you feel better without without being a real escape or a numbing activity. So hobbies are good in general.
Yes, that sounds good. That was that answering your question, Laurel?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
sorry. I thought
yeah,
I
no
thought I was
problem.
unmuted. All right. Yes, it does. And it's so important, you know, as I said already, it's so important right now because the layers of stress level and the fears and anxieties of us being, you know, I went to the grocery store for the first time I left my property for the first time in 4 months. And went to the grocery store and I thought I can do this and I jump in my car and I start it up and it won't start because the battery's dead. Well, right there,
no.
you know, it's like, okay, great. Now I have to jump my car, but my husband had already gone to work, and so I have to go and get the charger. You know, this domino effect. Charger's not charged because I haven't used it in 4 or 5 months, and so, you know, it's a brand new car, and so it's like, why is it doing this? Well, I found out that the computer on the Subarus keeps going and it drains the batteries. So you have to start your car every 2 weeks. Well, now I have a new stressor. I have to start my car every 2 weeks. It's like, you know, so a friend said, well, it's COVID car. You have to do that. But,
COVID
you know,
car.
so I'm just saying, yeah, COVID car. So these little things, they feel like nothing. And then I didn't go to the grocery store when I planned. And then then I'm telling this to my husband and I'm laughing about I have COVID car and I have to do all these things. And he says, well, are you ready for what's out there? I said, yeah, I'm going to put my mask on. I've got my gloves. And I go, yes, no. You now have labels on the floor in the grocery store telling you where to stand 6 feet apart when you go to checkout. You can't just go to any checkout line. You have to, and then, you know, you have to this and you have to that and all these things. And he said, and then when you're shopping, be aware that you will have 3 choices in toilet paper, not 25, that the shelves may be empty and all these. And so it changed. My anxiety level just went through the roof. So,
Yeah.
and it builds upon because we're dealing with unknowns, we're dealing with knowns. So, what's some advice? We only have a few minutes left, but I don't know if you have another exercise set up or not. But for the last few minutes, but I'd love to know how can you help us deal with these things that are cascading and it's like an avalanche, because we think we know one thing and then we find out it's in this new normal. It isn't.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I fully understand what you go through, and I think everybody can relate to that. So I was stressed too, especially in the beginning of our lockdown. Going to the supermarket was a really stressful activity. So, and I think one of the things relates to what I just said as an earlier reply is to accept that it's just the case. So you have higher stress levels, which is normal because there's a danger situation. That's why we have stress in the first place. So I think it's also functional stress, because if you're not stressed, then you might not take those measures into account and you're not really clear about, okay, I should take some precautions and take some measures. So I think we should not judge our stress too much. There is there was some research about the physical effects of stress, and if your opinion about stress is very negative, so stress is really bad, that's your opinion, then you get more physical problems related to the stress than when you are accepting your stress and saying, okay, partially stress is functional and it's okay. So that might help. But then you get this avalanche of stress with all those factors on top of each other, and it's really hard to handle. I fully understand that situation. And then, of course, you might need some help even. So somebody who like your husband saying, oh, don't worry, we will get there, or Hopefully you can still hug your family members, those kind of things to relieve stress. And also a little bit avoid the avalanche. So avoid what I did, and also advice to my clients was, please avoid an overload of information about the disease and all the crises related to that. So moderate your intake of bad news. You should not completely shut yourself off. You want to be informed, of course, but there is a whole range between being informed and being overloaded with negative information.
Yes, can I, oh sorry,
Yeah.
can I just say something on to that? Because that is really interesting to me. What happens to me is that I never watch the news. I don't almost never see any newspaper also. And then now I'm like on the news constantly, like never, like on endlessly. Like it's like I want to soak myself in negativity somehow. I don't know why this happens, but and that makes me really weaken myself. I notice.
Yeah.
So that I only do that for periods. But how come I feel like many people have that urge in these times when they know they should not do that? How come we do that? Do you know why we do that in these times, that we know that we should take care of ourselves and look for more positive things to be with, or take rest from these negativity things?
The question is, why are we addicted to negative news?
Yeah, maybe that's it, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we're even addicted to certain adrenaline or stress. That could be. We also watch, depending on who you are, but people like to watch movies which are a little bit stressful, like exciting adventure movies or even horror movies. That's not my genre, but some people like it because you want to have some excitement. I think this is not the case with taking in this bad news. That's not the wanting the excitement. I think it's more because there is a danger. You want to have as much information as possible so you know what to do about it, so you can stay safe. And that's normal. So if you have at night you hear a noise in your house, one response can be that you stay in your bed and say, I hear some noise, maybe someone is breaking into my house, let's not look at it. But some people will go look what it is because you want to know, am I still safe, or should I be scary in my bed the rest of the night? So I think that's normal. But the good thing is to take a step back, do a little relaxation exercise like we just did, and say, okay, was it good? Is it good for me? Or maybe after taking in all that news, do I feel better now? So I do the same. I have the same problems or challenges like you mentioned. But what I do lately is to check in on myself. If after an activity I feel worse, maybe this is a bad activity, even if I'm inclined to do it, I tend to feel worse after doing it. So that might be, if that's a pattern, something to change.
And Bogdan has a question, Dana Maria.
Sorry,
Well
I'm
done.
muted and I'm shooting myself from everywhere. So go on, yes, please.
Okay, so I amplify my voice. Well, I related to your question, Dana Maria, related to why we are like inclined to soak ourselves in negative news. Yeah, I have I'm a member of Peter Diamandis community, and he talked about this because he's also really fighting this, and he has also like a channel with only positive news. So he's really created the AI algorithm to sort of all of the information on the net and deliver us only the positive news. But the idea is he says like this is the guilty one is here, the amygdala, so the part of our brain. And yeah, we have like a 2 million year brain, and it was like built to defend us, to keep us alive, and it filters all the information and looks for negative information, just to be try to keep you safe and to try to keep you aware of possible dangers. And it focuses. This is normal. This is our brain. This is us. And the problem are the media, because normally they want attention. They want our attention. Yeah, and they tend to bring this negative news, because they want to market their space, so to get people on their like websites and so on. And it's like a chain of consequences here. But for us, it's like we need to be aware that we have this part of our brain that focuses on the negative news, and be aware of this, and just try to focus and be very selective. So you said it very correctly. Just moderate your consume of bigger negative news, and try to be selective with the sources of information, because lots of them are just like trying to sell advertising, and they're using that to with negative news, because people are tending to go there and be more attentive there. And this is a theory that I heard it from Peter Diamandis. So,
beautiful. Thank you so much, Bogdan, for also adding to this question. I just want to close down the session, and for everybody who wants to stay, can stay maybe a little bit to talk a little bit more about this subject if you are interested. But I want to close down the session for the people who need to go. So thank you so much for being here, Frank Rood. Give him a big hand. And also thank you so much, Bogdan, for helping us with the technical services, and Jason for recording the session, and Laurel for always being such a support here. And also for next week, I already see our next guest speaker is going to be next week, Fabian Stressor. He's here. Maybe you can give me a little heart, Fabian. Fabian, give me a heart emoji or something. He's going to talk about 432 Zen music, how that helps people to release stress, and help people to help people to gain energy. And he's the maker of that, so he's designing this music. So it would be nice to see you all also next week. And so thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you, and let's do all a selfie here with us, with Frank in the middle, so that we can make a nice picture, and also share this in the Discord channel, the Educators in VR Discord channel. Laurel or Bogdan, please be my guest.
Okay, no, you have to join us. And
okay,
Fox,
yes.
Let's see if I can get past Fox. There, okay. All right, I see somebody. Yep, there. Okay.
Am I here? Now, am I somewhere?
You're in there somehow. Okay, they're beautiful. All right. We need hearts. Lots of hearts up. Everybody hit their hearts emojis. I'm only seeing
I cannot do anything somehow.
There it is. Beautiful. Yay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, nice.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, we're good.
Good. So